take a ride in here, see what's going on. All right, let me, oh, excuse me, buddy. All right, so it's my friend Gary's car here. This one's called the Ragdoll. Let's see here. It's actually his father's car, ended up finding it. I remember when he came over to my house and was telling me all about this car. Look at this thing, man. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. Oof, boy. Jeez. Look at that. Hamtramck Street Racer. Okay. Let's see here, factory options. Wow. 44-year family search. One of only 6 produced. Wow. Love the backdrop too. Very cool. Very cool. Actually, this is it's the man right here. Come on, step in, man. All right, so this is my friend Gary, and so this was your dad's car?
This was my dad's street race car when it was new. Yeah.
And real old school. I mean,
yeah,
out of Hamtramck.
Yeah. He came home from Vietnam on January 1st, 1970, and had a 70 Cuda sitting waiting for him that he saved all his money for. Had a bunch of bad luck with it. Lemon Twist was the perfect color for an absolute lemon. And one day he was coming home from work and he saw a Challenger in a parking lot that was Panther Pink.
Yeah.
He went right to the dealership and ordered this car.
Ordered this car.
So that would have been...
yeah, I guess you'd have to, right, with this paint, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have just produced a bunch of them, put them on a lot, right?
The thing was, most dealerships didn't know. You know, this was pre-internet. It was a mid-year release color, so it was never in a sales brochure.
Okay.
This color and Sassy Grass Green were both mid-year release colors that didn't come out until the spring of that year.
Wow.
So salesmen didn't even know. He showed up at Johnny Motor Sales in Hamtramck.
Yeah.
Talked to the salesman and wanted to order a pink Road Runner, and the salesman didn't believe that it was existed. So he had to make a phone call and figure out what it was, and then he ordered the car.
Wow.
It's a real N96 air grabber,
so
391 rear gear.
Okay. But it's
26-inch radiator.
Obviously, it's kind of been through hell and back.
Not as much as it looks. So he street raced it for a couple years. He had a lot of fun, a lot of success, and a lot of trouble. Okay, of course. Got engaged. Okay. Got rid of the car. Got rid of the girl, and then wished he had the car till the day he died. The car showed up in a junkyard in Lincoln Park in '76. A couple of kids found it by accident as a stolen recovery, and it was actually in almost perfect shape. The damage to the front end was here. Yeah, the engine and trans were gone. They cut the core support to take that out, but the top, the seats, the body was all perfect. You know, a couple scratches from a junkyard. Sure. But other than that, it was perfect.
So how does it look inside here? I mean, are you able to open this up, or?
So the kids bought it, took it home, and then the one kid that bought it was thinking about painting it, so he started trying different colors on the fender wells here. Gotcha. And then the kid that originally found it chewed him out and told him he can't be spray painted like that. Right. So he ended up selling it to another guy, and that guy, he was only 19, took it home to his parents' property and put it behind a barn and put a tarp on it for 30 years. Oh my God. And it all rotted away because of that. This car has 9,000 miles on it.
You're kidding me?
9,000.
9,000 miles. But the fact that it was put under a tarp behind a barn for 30 years, that's really...
That's what ruined it.
Yeah, because I mean, once you start getting in here, rodents getting in here, water gets in here.
Yep,
I mean,
the floors all rot away.
Oh, man.
And you can see the body side. This is from a wet tarp being leaned up against it with nowhere for the water to go. And it just eats its way through. Don't put tarps on your car. Like, this is what happens.
Wow, man.
They can't breathe. The water
miles.
has nowhere to go. This is a 9,000 mile car.
Unbelievable.
Tic Tac Tock. It's got all the cool hot rod parts on it.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed you had your options and stuff on your board. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right off of the fender tag.
Okay. Man, I mean, so obviously I see on your board here, 44-year family search. I mean, how did you find it?
So my dad was hunting for it from the moment he broke up with his former fiance. I was born in '74.
Okay.
Ever since I was probably 5, I've been searching for it. Even as a little kid, you're looking out the windows of your parents' cars when you're driving through the neighborhood, hoping to find it in someone's garage, right?
Oh yeah.
So there is a Panther Pink and Moulin Rouge Facebook page, and I posted a "Have you seen me" on there back in 2014.
Okay.
And then in January of 2015, I reposted it. And a bunch of people started asking questions, wanting more details. They liked the story, started sharing it. There's a guy named John Gardowski who runs Johnny G's Mopar page. You're probably on it.
Yes.
So he shared it.
Absolutely.
And Mike Belcars saw the ad and talked to his brother Dave and said, "Hey Dave, don't you know where this car is?" And Dave knew where this car was.
No kidding.
Because the guy who owned it 10 years prior tried to sell it to him.
Wow.
For 12 grand. It was a bit more of a project than Dave wanted to get into, so he passed on it, but he kept the guy's phone number. So when I showed up 10 years later, he reaches out to the guy and said, "Hey, the original owner's son of that car has been searching for it his whole life." So long story short, it took me 35 grand to bring it home. Because he knew I had to have it, so he jacked the price through the moon.
That sucks. But
I have my dad's car.
Yeah, I know. And we've talked a little bit about this before, and I don't blame you for wanting to have your dad's car.
Some things are just more than metal.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I know that when you're going to restore this one day, right?
Yeah, that's actually the plan.
Okay.
Ordered 5,000 1/64th scale toy cars, die casts of it.
Okay.
And the sale of those is going to pay to restore this car.
Wow.
And all the sheet metal that's getting removed from it that needs to be replaced, I'm not going to discard it. I'm cutting it up in small pieces and putting them in the packages. So when you buy one of these toy cars, you actually get to own a piece of the car you're helping.
How much are the cars?
$25.
$25, okay. But
Ragdoll70.com.
But to help you build this back up, yeah, man.
That's where it goes. I'm not asking for anyone's money for free. I'm not doing a GoFundMe. I'm going to sell you something for your money, and you get to own a piece of the car when it's done.
And man, you sure as hell better give it to Christoph when it's
car will never
when that time comes. You know what I mean?
Family, this will be Christoph's car and his kid's car, and
that is a hell of a story, man. Wow, very, very cool. I got NOS road runners and things like that at home. Maybe
they would
maybe we next time I see you, we'll do something.
Paint, we can do that.
So the frame is.
I'll let you stick them on it yourself. How about that?
There you go. But the frame's kind of jacked too.
The frame is mint. It's got
Isn't
no
that
miles.
crazy?
It's got 9,000 miles. It never drove anywhere. It all rotted from sitting. So if you go under this car, the rails, the inner and outer wheelhouses are perfect. There's nothing wrong with them.
So
speaking of wheelhouses, my dad used to tell me this story all the time. I never really quite believed them, kind of.
Okay.
So in the 60s and 70s, it was common to paint the inside of your wheel wells white. So you pull a contrast from the tire. It makes it kind of float. He said that he found some light pink house paint on his mom's back porch, so he painted it light pink.
Okay.
I built a model car of this thing 30 years ago or more, 35 years ago, and I did what he said it had, right?
Okay.
The day I actually got to go see this car in August of 2015, I was checking it out. The right front fender wasn't on it. There was some plywood leaned up against the car.
Okay.
I pulled it away and I'm looking. I'm like, that's just kind of weird looking. I come over to this side and I look underneath this wheel well right here.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it is light pink.
Oh my gosh.
And I literally was breathless. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. I got scared. I ran out of the barn. I fell to my knees. My wife comes running out after me, thinking that I'm having a heart attack. And I told her I'm okay. I said, just go look inside, look behind the tires, look in the wheel well. She comes out and looks at it. She's like, oh my God, the house paint. It was true.
I mean,
I hardly ever told anyone.
That's how you knew.
That's better than a VIN.
100%, right? I mean.
And I never told anybody. I didn't tell the guy that had the car, because if it wasn't there, oh nope, this ain't your dad's car. It doesn't have that. I just kept it to my chest, right? But then I saw it, and there it was. And my kid knew about it. He was little, but he knew. My wife knew about it. I told a select few people that it was one of my dad's stories, and son of a bitch, it was true.
Wow, man.
It was true.
That is incredible. Oh my God. I mean, you got a hell of a project ahead of you, for sure. But I know you'll do it, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know
the
you'll
best
do
thing
it.
about this car, though, it's not that it was a street race car, that he won a bunch of races and used to beat GTOs. Like, there's plenty of street race car stories out there. Everybody's car was the fastest in town, right?
For sure.
And that's great. And this was too, but this ain't Jimmy Addison's car. This ain't that. What this car was my dad's street race car that built up a bit of an aura. And throughout the 70s and 80s, it just kind of became legendary. The fish that got away, right? And all my uncles who did not like Mopars would always humble themselves when it came to talking about this car.
Yeah.
So it was just like a long lost sibling. It was like separated at birth, but 4 years before I was born.
Yeah.
So it was like a life quest to find it. I've just been obsessed with it my whole life.
That's
and
amazing.
The main reason for that is because this was the one thing that my dad and I had as like a bonding experience. He came out of Vietnam, PTSD, fell down the bottle, battled alcoholism, and he died at 54 from it.
Wow, man.
But before that, he lost his wife. My brother and me didn't have good relationships with him because of what he was battling internally.
Sure.
And it destroyed everything in his world around him.
Wow.
But whenever this car would come up, he and I were best friends. And after he got divorced, it was this car and then leading it to other Mopars and car shows and stuff that really brought us back together and helped him mend his relationship with me before he died.
Wow.
So this is literally like my dad's soul.
Yeah.
And that's a lot more.
But you were like born a car guy, but connected by this thing.
This car.
For sure, man. And I get it. When you talk about the street racing thing, I mean, how could you not see this coming down the road, right? Like,
right.
You're already iconic just by looking at it because it's the only one in town. I mean, how many were produced?
6.
6 Moulin Rouge convertibles.
Yep.
I mean, even with hardtops, there probably weren't that many.
Yeah, I don't know the number, but there's...
But there's 6.
Yeah,
of
there's 6 of these. I've known that number for a long time.
Wow. Well, geez, unreal. I mean, did you just paint the wheel just for the hell of it, right?
No,
recently?
So
or?
his buddy stole a set of 14-inch Keystones out of a police impound.
Okay.
And that was on the car. And one night, driving like a fool, he whacked the curb and tore one up. So he wanted to put a set of 15-inch red lines on it on the back. So he went to a junkyard and found a pair of Studebaker 15-inch wheels.
Okay.
Same bolt pattern off of like an early 50s Champion.
Okay.
And he was a Ram Chargers guy, so he painted them half black and half white because he's a big Ram Chargers fan, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
Put a set of Western Auto Wizard Redline tires on it, and that's how he raced it.
No kidding.
When I got it back, it just had a set of black Steelies on it. So I sourced some, vintage patinaed Keystones and just a pair of Mopar Steelies for the back, and I painted them just so that it would have the look of how he had it.
Yeah.
But I did just receive today a really nice set of Studebaker 15-inch wheels. Wow. And I'm going to cut the centers out of them and put them into a set of 8-inch wide Mopar wheels. So that way I can run a 15x8, but it'll be a Studebaker center. And I've got a mint set of 14.6
Interesting
Keystones for the front.
Okay.
So
Right on.
it will be,
I get it.
when it gets restored, it's going to stay a day 2 car. It'll be what my dad wanted it to be and what he would have done had he kept it and continued moving forward.
Wow.
It won't be restored to the letter because there's enough of those.
Yeah.
And I love them dearly.
I know where you're at on all that.
I love them dearly.
Stuff.
But honestly, man, everybody who's got a perfectly restored original car came into this hobby because they fell in love with a day 2 car somewhere on the street.
100%.
That's what hooks us all.
Yeah. But this is another chapter, and then this is your story now.
Exactly. I get to continue.
That's absolutely right. Wow, amazing.
I get to do what he did. Do what he would have done, and then just take it to that next level.
So are you going to be taking this to McCacken or anything like that?
When it's done, that's where the unveil will be.
Okay.
It'll be unveiled at McCacken when it's done.
Okay. But not like this year or anything?
No,
okay.
It's going to be a year or two.
Because everybody's going to want to try and buy it. And
Yep. I've turned down a bunch of offers for it.
I would imagine.
It was at McCacken in 17 in the barn find section.
Oh, okay.
As a result, it ended up in 7 magazines.
Jeez. I believe it.
Print magazines, full story in Muscle Car Review. So it was in all of them.
Mopar Collector's Guide, and I'm sure everybody.
MCG is actually going to do a story on it now.
Okay.
Because they just featured the barn find section. It's a big old picture across the centerfold. Yeah, if you go on the website, it's got pictures of all the magazines that it was in and like the articles that it was in, so you can see all of them.
Wow. I love the backdrop too, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, it came out good.
Yeah, it really did.
It helps.
But it's not going to stay here over the winter, or?
No, it's going to go back home this week. So it'll probably be here Monday, maybe Tuesday. I don't know. But I know they're going to want it out of here to get the showroom back to normal.
Boy, you know, you mentioned this car to me when we first met and stuff like that, and I kind of thought, oh yeah, sure, you know, and this and that, and I'm like, really, you know, it got odd, but you know, I finally get to see it, and then the story. I remember the story of the wheel well and everything, and man, you know what? I'm glad you got it back. Definitely wish you a lot of success on this, and
I appreciate that.
Man, it's going to take some hard work, but I think you're.
It's just money, man.
I know, and I know you're going to do it. I have full faith in that.
The impossible part was finding the car.
That's
step
the
one. That's the hurdle. Like, how
Yeah.
many cars don't get found? And then you factor in it's a convertible in Michigan, which really limits its potential to live.
It could have
You know?
got crushed, or
Yeah.
who knows?
And
I mean,
it was in a junkyard. It was gonna be in the crusher. Like, everything in the junkyard eventually ends up in the crusher.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fact that it made it out and found its way back home is the real miracle. The rest is just money.
Amazing.
I still
Amazing
have
story.
any of it.
Well, it takes time. These
Yeah.
things take time. But man, I wish you a lot of luck with this car. I appreciate you talking about it.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. Thanks, man. All right, awesome car. Boy, I cannot wait to see this thing back on the road. It's gonna take some time, and who knows, maybe I'll help out a little bit on it. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys watching the channel. If you like the story, I'll bring you more. Hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.